Let's see, all are muted. Great. All right. So let's come on to the mat. And you can just take a comfortable seat, cross-legged seat or Japanese seat or whatever position is most comfortable for you. And we're going to set the intention today of just examining a little bit the idea of density versus spaciousness. For those of you that don't know, I'm also have been doing massage and body work and energy work for over 20 years. And those are the qualities that I'm often looking for to give me information about somebody's state of being or an area of injury or chronic tension. I'm looking for density versus spaciousness. And I just wanted to bring that into today's practice with the intention of tuning into where we are at specifically today. It changes quite a lot. So if you are feeling sort of dense and heavy today, that's okay. Maybe this practice will help, or maybe it's just the day. It kind of has a lot of factors involved. What we've been eating, how we've been eating, how hydrated we are or dehydrated we are, how we've been moving, what we've been taking in terms of media and things like that can cause sort of a sense of density or heaviness. So today's class, the intention will be just to draw some awareness to where we're at individually, feeling more dense or more light, more spacious. And we're going to be moving and breathing in a way that hopefully will create a little more spaciousness in the body and sense of lightness. So one of the images I like to think about moving into a practice like this is if you've ever tried to juggle with those very gauzy like pieces of material. I don't think they're actually scarves. Maybe they are. They're a little smaller than scarves, but they're gauzy and they're super light. And you throw them up in the air and they almost kind of catch the air and they float down lightly. So we're going to be moving in that way today with that sort of image in our mind. So enough spaciousness and lightness that we can kind of be buoyant on the air in some way. So we'll be working with some balancing postures and just some light rhythmic moving postures as well. So from a seated position, just let the eyes drop closed, palms down on the knees, and welcome to your practice. We're just going to start by moving the head. So we'll just start to let it drape over to the left shoulder and then chin to chest and over to the right shoulder. So just a little half circle, moving as slowly at first as feels good, playing with the range of motion, just noticing what's there. Do you feel some density in the stabilizers of the neck? Do they feel tight? That tightness is actually density. So the muscle fibers really closely bound together produces the sensation of tightness in the muscles. So with the intention of making some space between those fibers, we'll just move in this nice fluid way, little half circle, and you can draw the head back, playing with that sensation of stretching as you find it. Just finding a nice rhythm and making sure that we're breathing. So when we hold our breath, that's a real experience of heaviness and density. When we're breathing shallow, we're holding the breath, we'll immediately begin to feel heavy and dense. So we lighten up. One of the best tools is to use the breath. So we just make sure there's movement of breath. Doesn't have to be anything specific, just that you're breathing in and out with awareness. Maybe a couple more times, just noticing what's in the neck. Maybe it's warmed up a little bit. Maybe there's some crackling and popping happening for you. Just notice. And then resting with your chin toward your chest. Take a big breath in. And a full exhale, maybe feeling some stretching down the back of the neck and upper shoulders. And then just gently bring your head up and find a neutral place for your head over your shoulders. And then we'll start to move the shoulders themselves. So bringing shoulders up to earlobes and drawing them down the back and start to make a nice big circle. But first moving very slowly. If it starts to feel more open, you can move more quickly. So we're making big shrugging motions, but really a circle. So up for this earlobes and down and back, big circles. Again, you might hear some cracking and popping. I know I do. So what that is, if you've ever wondered, there's a couple of things it can be. It can be sort of the bones moving and aligning, but it can also be dense tissue fibers kind of breaking up a little bit, allowing for more circulation. Maybe 2 more big rolls of the shoulders. Maybe they're feeling a little warm now. Making space for circulation. And then come to stillness, and we're going to switch the direction of the shoulders. So holding on to knees is great. It's kind of a loose position for the hands because they want to move with the shoulders. But this time we'll go back and up toward the ears and forward and down. So making the circle go in the opposite direction. It's okay if the whole torso moves. See how much range of motion you can get going in the shoulders. Working with the idea of making space in dense areas of the body, but also working with lightening up the emotional, spiritual, mental state if it's feeling dense. Making space everywhere imaginable in our practice today. And then come to stillness when you're ready, and we'll roll out the wrists. So go ahead and take your left hand and hold on to your right wrist. Left hand holds on to right wrist, and you're just going to make a circle with your fingertips. So moving the whole hand, but you're kind of painting a big circle with your fingertips. And you should feel some space opening up in the connective tissue of the wrist. Change directions. Excellent. And then maybe just give a little shake to the hand. And then we'll move to the other side. Hold on to your left wrist and start to make circles. No really wrong way to do this. Just that you're holding on to the tissue of the wrist, kind of pulling back. That will help to create space in the connective tissue. And then maybe change directions. Again, maybe there's some cracking and popping happening. Creating more space there. And then maybe shake the hand out. And now we'll take a motion like we're flicking water off the fingertips. You can bring your arms up by the shoulders and just a light, easy motion. Flicking the fingertips forward kind of lets the wrist move in a graceful forward way. And then shake both hands out. Beautiful. Now hands on knees or thighs, and we'll start to move the torso in a circle. So just start to find the same kind of rhythmic motion. Doesn't matter which direction you're going, we'll go both ways. Just making a big circle with the whole torso. Maybe this starts to activate the core muscles a little bit. Circular movement is great for moving dense energy. We're talking about moving into more space on an energetic level. Circular rhythmic movement is great for that. Like the Sufis do this spinning sort of ritual dance. They move dense energy in this rhythmic circular way. And then switch directions. You're always welcome to have eyes closed or open, whatever you're most comfortable with. And then coming to stillness, again, holding on to knees or thighs, and we'll cat-cow. Inhale, chest forward, lift the chin, and exhale, round the back. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round the back. Tuck the chin in. So find your own rhythm, use the breath. Exhale as you round the back. Inhale as you come forward, making space in the lungs. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, lift the chest. A couple more times. So already with these motions we've taken in the practice, we probably have created some space where there was more density before we began to move. And the next time you round the back, you're just going to come to a neutral spine. And then find your hands out in front of you and just walk forward a little bit until you start to feel some length in the low back. So just, it'll be different for everybody. Maybe it's just a tiny little forward fold. Maybe you come all the way down onto your forearms. Maybe you bow the head. So wherever you are, just create a little space in your low back with a forward folding position. So many of us have a lot of density in the low back. Men in particular tend to carry a lot of low back stress and density. And I just know this from years of exploring the tissue in that area. But I know even for myself, you know, in these early forward folds in my practice before I'm warmed up, I'm aware of the density there. I'm aware of the sensation of space opening up when I take a forward fold. And then slowly walk the hands back toward the legs. Bring the arms up overhead. So your biceps are by your ears. Reach up with the fingertips. We're going to take a couple twists with a rhythmic breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, turn to the right. Right hand behind the back, left hand to the knee. Just find the edge of your twist. Look over your right shoulder. And as soon as you find it, inhale, release. Come back to center, arms up. Exhale, go the other way. Left hand behind the spine, right hand on the knee. Twist, look over the shoulder. And as soon as you find that edge where the density is, release from it. Inhale up and exhale, twist. So we'll just start to find a rhythm. Inhale up, exhale, twist. And you don't have to move the same rhythm I'm moving. You can move more slowly or more quickly. Just make sure you're exhaling when you twist and inhaling when you're reaching up. And move from side to side. Keep going with this. It's a great way to find some space in the stabilizers of the spine on the little infraspinatus muscles. Start to get a little more circulation and lengthen a bit. A couple more times, inhaling up and exhaling into the twist. Last one, twist in whatever direction you're headed. And then slowly come back to center, arms overhead. And we're going to turn the palms out to the sides and float the arms down like they are those little juggling pieces of material, juggling scarves, we'll call them. Beautiful. Come on to hands and knees. Hands under wrists, knees under hips. Now we're going to use the feet here for cat-cow on the hands and knees. So when you go to lift the chest and tail, tuck your toes. And when you go to round, you'll untuck and press into the top of the feet. So you can go ahead and join me. Tuck the toes, inhale, chest and tail. And exhale, release the feet, press to round. Inhale, tuck the toes, lift. Exhale to round the back, pull the belly in. Inhale, tuck the toes, lift. And last time, round the back, untuck the toes, and then tuck them again for downward facing dog. Walk yourself into the downward facing dog of your choice. And what I mean by that is maybe your knees want to be a little bit soft. Maybe you want to step a little wider than hips, especially if you have a lot of tension or density in the hamstrings, back of the upper legs. Or maybe you're quite flexible, you have more space in the hamstrings, and you want to straighten the legs and reach the heels for the mat. Either way, you're more or less taking the shape of a triangle, right? Or an inverted V. Bring weight to the thumb. Bring weight to the index finger and the index finger ball. Very important to bring some weight to the inner edge of the hand. claw down with all 10 fingers, lift the ribs in a little bit, lift the belly in, and lengthen the seat up and back. Inhale, come to a high plank position, top of a push-up, and then just press back, downward facing dog. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale to the top of a push-up, and exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, top of a push-up, exhale, downward facing dog. Beautifully done. This time, inhale, high plank, release your knees, release your feet, and slowly lower all the way down. Bending the elbows so that the elbows point back toward the heels. Once you arrive on the belly, you can realign the hands if they need it. You really want them back by the ribs. You want the wrist creases under the elbows. So you can even look back. Do you have a good bone stack? Wrist crease under elbows. And that should put your middle finger more or less in line with the natural nipple line. Squeeze the elbows in, squeeze the inner thighs, press firmly into the top of the feet, and lift up to find a small cobra. Any amount. You can stay quite low if you like, or you can come up a little higher. Choose what's best for you right here. And then exhale, lower down, and we'll move with breath. We're moving with rhythm today. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Shift your hips back. We'll find a child's pose. Let's take wide knees, big toes touching. Let the hips sink back toward the heels. Reach the arms forward, or if your forehead doesn't reach the mat to release, you can stack your hands one on top of the other and place your forehead on your hands. It'll just give you something to release into. Or maybe the forehead meets the mat, and you're just going to find some nice, full, deep breaths and see where you can create space. In the child's pose, one of the places I love to focus on creating lightness and spaciousness, is between the ribs. So between the ribs, we have these flat muscles called intercostal muscles. And they are really a big part of how we breathe. So if we want to create spaciousness in our lungs, we have to create space in the rib cage because that's what surrounds the lungs. So see if you can expand the space between the ribs as you breathe. Shift forward, hands and knees. When you're ready, tuck toes, lift hips, downward facing dog. And from here, we're just going to walk the hands back to the feet. So walk the hands slowly back toward your feet, and you'll find yourself in a forward fold. You'll know right away if you need to bend the knees because you'll start to feel an intense pulling in the back of the legs. So if you need to bend the knees, please do. I'm going to keep my knees a little soft here because this is my first standing forward fold. Grab opposite elbows, draw the chin in toward the throat. That helps to unlock the neck. And take a couple breaths here. If you want to nod the head a little bit, it can sometimes really help to release and make space in the cervical part of your spine, the neck. And then we're going to roll up really slowly. So go ahead and release the arms. Do anything that feels right with the neck. You could take a couple circles or nod yes. And then we're going to roll up. Root down through your feet. Bend the knees a little more. And start to come up. You're going to pull the belly into the spine. Use the strength in the front of the body to unfurl the back body. We're going to move really slowly. Think about stacking one vertebrae on top of the next. On top of the next. Head and shoulders are going to be the last to arrive at the top of the mat. So we'll take a little back bend and then we're going to roll down with the same intention. So let's bring the hands to the hips, thumbs pointing in. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Anchor through the feet and just lift the chest. Lift the chin, lift the gaze. little standing back bend, not too deep quite yet. And then find neutral, release the arms by the sides, and we're gonna roll down just like we rolled up. So draw your chin toward your chest, draw the shoulders in to round the upper back, and start to come down really, really slowly. And then when you find the spot where you start to feel tension in the low back or mid back, pause and feel some expansion with breath. See if you can breathe in to the mid and lower back. And exhale. And now continue to roll down. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Really moving slowly and intentionally. Coming eventually into the forward fold of your choice. Knees as soft as they need to be. Let's leave the arms dangling this time. And again, nod the head. You might find more crackling and popping there. Open your jaw. Move the jaw around. And then we're going to roll up again. Root down through your feet, bend your knees, pull your belly in. Use the strength of the front body to unfurl the back body. So you're stacking vertebrae as you go. One vertebrae stacking on top of the next, really slow and intentional. Head and shoulders arrive at the top. Back bend, hands to the hips, thumbs pointing in. At this point, if you'd like, you can move your fingertips to point up toward your shoulder blades. That'll be a pretty big opening for the wrist, and it's just an option. So thumbs pointing in is just fine. We'll take a slightly deeper back bend now, if it's available. Stay with the first back bend if you prefer. Start to lift the sternum, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chin. If this is where you'd like to stay and hang out for your back bend, that's great. Or shift your hips forward and arc back more. Maybe one day seeing the wall behind you. Big opening through the front line of the body, making space there. And then slowly come up, engage the belly, hands to hips. And just stand at the top of the mat. Release your arms down, and we're just going to take the feet a little bit wider than the hips. Feet a little bit wider than hips. We're going to start to swing the arms. So the idea here is going to be to find as much lightness as possible. The eyes can be closed or open. And just see if you can let the arms kind of catch some flotation. Kind of a nice light feeling as the arms catch the air as they move around. Then you can start to make the movement a little bigger, maybe turning to look over the shoulder in the direction that the hands move. You picture in your mind's eye the whole spine twisting as you move from side to side. Stay anchored in the feet, grounded in the feet, but let the upper body start to experience a whole new level of lightness. Almost like you're flying like a helicopter would catch the air beneath the tines blades. Maybe just a few more rounds here. And then just slowly start to let yourself come to stillness. Really easy and light. And just stand for a moment and feel the energy begin to move in your body. You can feel it as a little tingliness or lightness. Just experience energy movement. Sometimes we don't tune into that subtle experience, but there it is, right? Awesome. Now we're going to take the feet just a little wider for side bending. So again, I always talk about the sides of the body being a little bit ignored. We work the front of the body and the back of the body, but often the sides are sort of an afterthought. So these side bends, I bring them into most practices. They're very important. The feet are solid on the mat. The left hand is at the left hip, the right arm out to the side. Spin the palm up toward the ceiling. Take a big breath in and exhale as you reach up toward the ceiling. Now begin to send the hips over and reach the fingertips in the opposite direction. So creating some space. If there is density in the side body, the IT band down the outside of the leg is a very dense area of the body in terms of tissue quality. So thinking about lengthening through that density, and then come back to center. Right hand, right hip, left arm out, palm rolls up toward the ceiling. Take a big breath in, and exhale as you reach up. Send the left hip away from the right fingertips, creating space where maybe there was density before. And then come back to center. Heel toe to step the feet back in, and again, we're gonna take a standing back bend. Thumbs point in is fine, or maybe you're working with fingertips pointing up toward the shoulder blades. Either one is great. Draw the shoulders in, lift the sternum, lift the chin, lift the gaze. Stay in this version, or maybe go deeper by shifting hips forward and arcing back. Maybe one day seeing the wall behind you. Slowly come up. Hands to hips. Hold forward with hands at hips. And then once you find your belly close to your thighs, bend the knees if you need to, release the arms. Grab opposite elbows. Draw the chin in toward the throat to release the neck and breathe. Really use the breath to create space up the superficial back line of the body. So the outer tissues in the back of the body. Inhale, we'll come to a flat back now. So release the hands, fingertips to shins, and just lift your torso halfway. Tail reaches back, crown of the head reaches forward. So your gaze is straight down at the mat. The knees need to be a little bent, that's fine. Lift the belly, lift the ribs, breathe here. And exhale, bow in, forward fold. Now we'll sweep up, bend the knees, inhale, the arms sweep out to the side and all the way overhead. Palms touch, look up at the space where the palms meet, reach up with the fingertips, maybe take a little back bend, any amount. And exhale, let the hands rest at prayer. And we're just gonna take another little energy moving exercise for the arms. So from a standing position, right arm crosses over the left and then open and switch the cross. So years ago, I took a training in something called polarity therapy, which is all about moving the subtle energy in the body. And there was a whole set of exercises that were intended to do just that. And this is one of them. So we've taken a couple of them today, and they really work. They really work to move the energy of the body. So crossing one or the other, maybe getting a little momentum. This really warms up the shoulders. If you have a shoulder injury of any kind, you might want to go easy. If your shoulders are fine, maybe get some momentum. Feel the air rushing past the arms. Maybe they start to move back further when they go back. So shoulder blades come closer together. Keep going. It's also strengthening the arms. And we'll start to slow down. And then let the arms rest at the sides. And again, this is an opportunity to experience the lightness that happens when we intentionally move the subtle energetic body. It affects the physical, the denser physical body, the muscles, tendons, and ligaments, even the skin. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Palms touch. Reach up, look up, maybe a little back bend, any amount. And exhale, turn the palms out, swan dive. Let this intention be light like a swan, and forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, and exhale, plant your hands on the mat. Walk back or forward, find your downward facing dog. So just walking your feet away from your hands, wherever you are on your mat, finding a downward facing dog. And then we'll inhale, press to the tiptoes, and exhale, release the heels. So even if your knees are bent, you can get good benefit from this. Inhale, up on tiptoes, challenge your tiptoes, and then release heels down. We're gonna do that 3 more times. Inhale, tiptoes, exhale, release heels. Inhale, tiptoes, exhale, release. Inhale, tiptoes, exhale, release the heels, and breathe here. Inhale, high plank. We've been here before, top of a push-up. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, top of a push-up. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, top of a push-up. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, top of a push-up, we'll chaturanga to the belly. So bend the elbows. You can use your knees here if you prefer, and lower all the way down to the mat. Place your hands so that your wrists are under your elbows. Squeeze the arms in toward the body, make space between the earlobes and the shoulders. Squeeze the thighs together, press into the top of the feet, lift up, find your cobra. Maybe your spine is a little more open this time. Hold, squeeze, breathe, shoulders open, collarbones wide. Inhale, exhale, release, and then inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Last time, inhale, lift and hold. And then slowly release all the way down. Shift your hips back, find a child's pose. Again, let's take wide knees, hips move back. Feel free to stack your hands if you liked that, or reach the arms forward. Again, setting this intention really to use the breath, and notice maybe just with the movement we've already taken, is there a little more space between the ribs? Does it feel like the lungs can expand more into the back, more up into the shoulders, more into the chest, maybe more down into the abdomen? The lungs expand in all those directions. So just play with a little more space in the breath if possible. Shift forward, come onto all fours, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Shake out the head. If the neck feels really tight in your downward facing dog, like you're holding it in some unnatural way, just let it go. Play with letting go of the neck in the dog position. And then when you're ready, we're going to tiptoe to the top of the mat this time. So just start to walk forward until you find yourself in your forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lengthen. Exhale to bow deep. Soften the knees. Inhale, wide sweep to the top. Palms touch, reach up, look up, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, hands at prayer. Bring your arms out, shoulder height, shoulder width. Spread your fingers. And we're going to come up onto tiptoes. So very slowly, allow yourself to find one spot for the eyes to rest. That really helps with balance. And start to lift the heels. Come on up to tiptoes. And if you find a little wobbliness, that's quite all right. Give yourself a moment to try to find a sense of lightness here. And then slowly, with control, lower the heels. Once the heels meet the mat, we'll inhale to rock back up. Tiptoes. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. Last time, inhale, come up and hold. And you're welcome to stay here if you'd want a challenge. We're going to lower by bending the knees and sliding the shoulders and hips down an imaginary wall. So keeping a flat back. And maybe you just come down a little bit. Challenge the balance, keeping the heels lifted. Maybe you come down a little further. A lot of work in the legs. And then press all the way up to tiptoes and release. Keep your arms right where they are and bend the knees to find a chair pose. Sinking your hips back, draw your belly in. Glance down, can you see your toes? If not, draw your knees back further. Draw your shoulders into the sockets. Draw your belly button into your spine. And then press firm into the feet and come on up to tiptoes. Beautiful. Release the heels down. Taking hands to prayer, inhale, lift the elbows. Exhale, sink the hips. Finding a twist here, inhale, lift the elbows. Exhale, twist to the left. Draw your left hip back in space. Long spine. Reach for the crown of the head. Finding a twist here. Inhale back to center and exhale the other way. Right elbow, left knee. Draw your right knee back. Your knees want to be in line with each other. They'll square your hips. And now find your twist. Lengthen out. Maybe turn your gaze to your fingertips. Inhale back to center and exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back position and exhale, bow. Soften the knees. Inhale, wide sweep to the top. Palms touch, reach up, look up, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, hands to prayer. We're going to play with a tree pose from the top of the mat. So we'll start with the right leg. And you could, the right leg is going to be the lifted leg. So it will have an external rotation in the hip. And you could just take a kickstand position, if this is new to you, or your balance is just wanting this today. Your heel will be above your standing ankle. You could draw the foot up to the calf. You always want to skip the knee, but you could reach down for the foot and bring it up to the inside of the thigh. So work with what your body wants today. Find your hands at prayer. Lift the elbows a little. And then when you're ready, you're going to extend the arms up to a wide V position. Now maybe shift the gaze upward as well. So that's the challenge. Open that right knee out to the side, whichever position you have it in. Keep that external rotation. And then lightly touch your thumb and index finger. Experience as much spaciousness as possible here. And then slowly release hands to prayer and release the right foot down. And we'll just move to the other side. So the left foot will be either in kickstand, calf, or thigh. You want to take the same variation on both sides. We're always seeking balance in this practice. So whatever you went with on the first side, go there again. And then hands to prayer. Press your standing foot or standing leg and lifted foot together. Find that muscle engagement toward the center line. When you're ready, float the arms up. When you're ready, shift the gaze upward. Gently, lightly, thumb and index finger touch. Slowly release. Release the foot. Release the arms at your sides. Inhale, arms overhead, palms touch, reach up, look up, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, turn the palms out, swan dive down. Every time you take this swan fold, think of spaciousness and lightness. Inhale to a flat back, fingertips at shins, long spine, big breath. Exhale, hands to the mat, right foot shoots way back. So you want to take a big enough step back that your left knee is directly over your right, or your left, your left knee is directly over your left ankle. And if you're finding that that's not the case, just wiggle your back toes back more. So hop them back a little bit further. Your fingertips are in line with your ankle bone on either side of your front foot. Left hip pulls back, chest lifted toward the front of your mat. Shoulders glide away from ears. And there's a lightness to the fingers. So if you're really putting a lot of weight on your fingers, see if you can take the work into the legs and feel lightness in the fingers. They're just like feathers on the mat. Little guidance for balance, but not supporting the weight. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bounce the back knee. Step forward and fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to bow. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Palms touch, reach up, look up. And exhale, dive. Inhale to flat back position. Fingertips to shins. Exhale, hands to the mat. Left foot shoots back. Again, wiggle back the left toes if you need to. Right hip lifts a bit. Fingertips floating lightly on the mat on either side of the right ankle bone. Chest forward, shoulders back. And as you pull the chest forward, the hips may sink a little bit. That's great. I need a little more space between the legs. Inhale and exhale. Bounce your back knee. Press out of the back foot to step forward and fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to bow. Soften the knees. Big sweep to the top. Palms touch, reach up, look up, maybe a little back bend. And exhale, hands rest at prayer. Another balancing position. We're going to play with the dancer's pose today. So both arms overhead, right arm out like you're holding a tray. Pour the weight into the left foot, bend your right knee, and reach back for the inside edge of your foot. Inside edge of your foot. That'll open the shoulder, creating space in the shoulder joint. Get a good grip on your foot and work on drawing your thighs together. Stacking shoulders over hips. Tempting to have sort of a sideways stance here. So see if you can square your stance forward toward the top of the mat. And then if you're ready and you want to, you can start to push the foot back into the hand and kick the toes up toward the ceiling. That will naturally tip your chest forward, just enough. So the action is in kicking the toes up. See if you can feel some lightness in the toes, like they're floating upward. And then release. Other side, right arm up, left arm out like you're holding a tray. Right leg takes the weight, bend your left knee, reach back to the inside of your left foot, space in the shoulder joint. Feel free to stay here, just working on drawing the thighs close together. Maybe that's your work today. Big balance anyway. But if you want to tip in, you're going to push the foot into the hand and kick your toes up toward the ceiling. That will start to tip the chest eventually. Your eyes are in one spot. Think about the toes being light like a helium balloon, reaching up, up, up toward the sky. And release. Arms by your sides, and we'll step the feet a little bit wider to take that twisting motion we took before. So just start to let the arms be loose, fingers be heavy, maybe eyes drop closed if that feels good to you, and your arms start to catch the air. It's sort of like, it does remind me of a helicopter in some ways. You know, you're going in two directions, but the arms catch the air, float up, they catch the air. They're light as a feather for a moment, they're buoyant. Just experiencing lightness in the body can lift the mental, emotional, spiritual body as well. So we just seek lightness in the physical body. Arms catch the air, up and around. And start to come to stillness when you're ready. And then just stand and feel. Notice the energy movement in the body. Bring your feet under your hips. And inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Palms touch. Reach up, gaze up, maybe a little back bend. And exhale, swan dive down. Bend the knees, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen, flat back position, fingertips to shins. Big breath in. Exhale, hands to the mat, right foot shoots back. Now from here, we're gonna spin the back foot flat, and then take the right arm forward, up, and back, so that we land in a warrior two. And when you get there, just take a little bit of time finding your alignment. Sink your hips low, open your knee up to the pinky edge. Bring some extra weight to the pinky edge of your right foot. Soften the knee. If you tend to hyperextend, make sure there's some spaciousness and softness in your back knee. And then sink the hips a little more. Open the arms up, reach back with your right hand and forward with your left. Turn so that your gaze falls on your left middle finger. Big breath in. Exhale, palm spin toward the side wall and tip into your bent knee angle. So the elbow can come on top of your left thigh. It can come on the inside of your left thigh, or your fingertips can come down to the mat on the inside of the foot. So that would create a deeper hip opening if the fingers come down. You can always use a block or a book or a cushion. Right arm reaching high. We're just gonna take some movement with this top arm. So take it back toward your back foot and then around. It's just gonna brush the mat like a feather, forward and up. 2 more times this way. Bring it around, forward, up, back. Last time, brush the mat like a feather, up, and keep it up this time. Press into your front leg and come on up, preparing for triangle. So your front leg is now straight. Your shoulders are over your hips. Again, reach out with the arms and then reach forward with the left fingertips. Hips shift back a little bit and we'll find a triangle pose. Maybe fingertips at the top of the shin, maybe on the floor, maybe a block. So if your front knee wants to bend, a block or a book or a cushion can be really helpful, or maybe just lightly leave your fingertips on your shin. Don't come down so far if your front leg wants to bend. And we'll just take one circle with the arm, just like we did on the other side. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, fingers move behind you, come down. You can follow your fingertips with your eyes. They brush the mat and up overhead. Bend your front knee. Come back, warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, frame your front foot with your hands. Lift your back heel. So find yourself back in your lunge. Bounce the back knee. Step forward and fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, bow in. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Palms touch, reach up, look up, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Left foot shoots way back. Make sure it's back far enough that your right knee's over the right ankle. And then we're gonna turn the foot flat to the mat so that your pinky edge of your back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. That's how we'll start. And the knee in the front is right over the ankle. Left arm reaches forward, up, and back, drawing your torso up over your hips. Then you just take a moment to set yourself up for warrior two pose. Sink in, open your knee out to the pinky edge. Bring some extra weight to the pinky edge of your back foot and bend the knee a little bit. We want to use the muscles more than the joints. Reach out in opposite directions. Play a little tug of war to create space again, right? Space in the collarbones. Gaze at your right middle finger. And then flip your palms to the side wall. Tip into your bent knee angle. So your elbow on top of, in front of, or fingertips on the inside of the foot. You can choose. Top arm reaching up. Breathe here. And then exhale, you can follow your fingertips. They're gonna reach back toward the back of the mat and graze the mat. Follow with your eyes. Fingertips up and back and down. One more time. Up and back. Like feathers on the mat, they graze and then stop at the top. Beautiful. Now press into your front foot to straighten the front leg and come on up, preparing for your triangle. So bring your shoulders over your hips. If you wanted to narrow your stance a little bit, depending on your length of your legs, that can be helpful. If you automatically need to bend your front knee, just remember not to come down so far or to use a block. So you could have a block or a book in front of your foot. Arms out like a T, reach forward. If you're trying to touch the wall, notice the hips hinge backwards. And then just come down, fingertips to your shins, or shin rather, or the block, or the mat. Then we'll take one circle with the top arm. Inhale, follow it with your eyes. Exhale, reach the fingertips back. Graze the mat like feathers. Forward and up. Big breath in. Exhale, bend your front knee. Warrior two. Last moment here. Big breath. And then frame your front foot. Lift your back heel. Bounce your back knee. Step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow in. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Palms touch, reach up, look up, maybe a little back bend. And exhale, swan dive, lightly come forward. Once you arrive in your forward fold, plant your hands on the mat and walk back to find your downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, shift forward to plank. Inhale and exhale back, downward facing dog. Two more, inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now come to the high plank and just relieve your knees onto the mat. Set your hips back on your heels and bring your hips off to the left so the legs can come around in front of you. And we'll just take a slide of the seat toward the feet. So you'll bend the knees and just slide your seat up. And then we'll take a slow roll onto the back. Use your core strength. Reaching arms forward helps. One vertebra at a time until you find yourself all the way on the mat. When you arrive, bring your knees in. So you're hugging your knees toward your belly, and then you're gonna go ahead and reach your toes up toward the ceiling. We're gonna take a little core activation, and then we're going to rest in waterfall for a few breaths. So core activation here. When you're ready, inhale, lift your head and shoulders up and reach your fingertips past your thighs. Squeeze into the center line of the legs where the legs meet each other. Now you could stay here or you can lower the legs a third of the way. Now see if you can look up and lift the chin. That should relieve some tension in the neck. You don't want to create more density there. We've worked to get rid of it. So we don't want to create more. Lift the chin, look straight up. Lower the legs more if you want for more work, or keep them where they are. Toes reach up toward the ceiling. Release your head and shoulders to the mat and hug your knees. We'll take a happy baby position. Let's take the hands to the outside edges of the feet. And then you can let the knees move to the outside of the rib cages and outside of the arms. So you're holding on to the pinky edge of the feet and you're pressing upward with the sole of the feet and then pulling downward. So there's kind of a counter strength happening, pressing up with the feet, isometric, pulling back with the hands. And then we'll just take a slow side to side rock. You can stay still if you prefer, but maybe the rocking side to side feels good. And the pose called Happy Baby has a lightness to it, certainly something that babies can be a lot of ups and downs emotionally, but they stay fairly light energetically. They don't start to build density until later. So just let yourself have Happy Baby in that spirit of spaciousness and lightness. And then come to center if you are moving. And then release the hands. We're going to let the feet move straight up toward the ceiling. And then we're going to roll out the ankles. You could go in one direction and then the other. And you could even support your thighs with your hands if you like. We just want the feet to be up in the air. Maybe a little bend in the knees. Rolling out the ankles. And then flex and point. Flex and point. Flex and point. And then kick the legs. Great way to move energy through the legs. Bring a little temper tantrum for your practice today. Kicking, letting the ankles be loose. And then come to stillness. And you can support your thighs with your hands or let your arms come down next to you or out to the sides. And just see if you can let your legs kind of float. So the knees can be a little bent. They don't have to be overly engaged. We just want the feet up in the air and see if they can feel a little bit buoyant. This is the waterfall pose. We're letting all the fluids in the feet and legs drain. If you start to get some tingling in the feet, you're more than welcome to bring the feet down or just stay with it. It's actually not bad for you at all, but if you prefer, you can bring the feet down, but maybe you just stay with that sensation, a little tingling in the feet. Feel free to take whatever movement with the ankles or feet that feels good. Let the legs float in the air. We're going for that buoyant feeling. So sometimes it kind of helps to kind of bounce the legs or gently shake the feet so it feels like they are buoyant. And then bend the knees into the chest. Hug them in a little closer. And then we're just going to let the knees fall to the left. And if they stay stacked, great. And if they kind of separate in a more organic kind of fall, that's fine. Whatever position the legs take is perfectly okay. And the right arm can reach out to the side, turn your gaze to the right hand, close your eyes. And just let yourself experience any new spaciousness that exists for you, whether that's in your mind, your emotional state, or your physical body, your energetic body. So many layers to us as human beings, complicated layers. We can kind of check in with all of them as we start to get acquainted with ourselves on a deeper level. We can check in. How is the spaciousness of the energetic body? How is the spaciousness of the physical body? How is the lightness of my emotional self? Am I feeling dense in a mental way? Am I feeling too overcrowded, or is my brain feeling over full? What about spiritually? Are you feeling light there? Are you feeling spacious and connected, or are you feeling doubtful and unconnected, disconnected? So many layers to check in on in terms of those qualities. Bring your knees back to center, hug them in close, and then just let them fall to the right. Left arm reaching out, you can turn your head in that direction. Letting yourself just notice this side in terms of physical density, emotional density. It may be different from side to side in your body. Oftentimes the dominant side has a little, a little more dense quality to it, just because the muscles are used more frequently. Take a full, spacious breath in. And completely exhale. Give yourself this last opportunity to make space, let go of something that may be causing density emotionally, mentally, physically. And then bring your knees back to center. Hug them in one more time. And then just extend the legs out. Finding Shavasana. Final rest on your mat. Tuck your shoulders under your heart space. Toes are soft. Jaw is soft. Forehead is soft. As much as possible, let the body go heavy. Allow the body to experience kind of a heavy, dense, intentional sinking feeling so that the body feels like it's falling through the mat. It's heavy. Every bone, every muscle gaining more density. It's almost like there were sandbags on top of the body. Heavy, melting, falling back. And then the body begins to feel light, as if someone has removed the sandbags. The body feels light. It begins to float, not just to the surface, but then up off of the surface as well. So it's hovering above the mat. Complete sense of lightness, weightlessness, light as a feather, light as air. And now the body begins to sink back to the mat, but remains spacious, free of tension. When you're ready, hug your knees into your chest and roll onto your right side. Pause a moment in gratitude here on the right side. And then when you're ready, press to a comfortable seat. Your eyes are closed, your palms are pressed at the center of your chest. We'll take a big breath in together. And exhale as you bow your forehead toward your fingertips. Bring your thumbs to your forehead and we'll bow as one. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Feel free to unmute your microphones and ask any questions if there were questions about postures or anything at all, or feel free to share anything that's on your mind. If you can, I will ask each person to go to the chat bar on the screen and just leave me a little message so that I can know you were here. And if you don't know where that is, just unmute and I will help you find it.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope your mute worked and you didn't hear Lexi barking.
No, didn't hear a thing.
Hi, Dr. Barry.
Hi, I just found the chat bar.
Oh, good, you found it.
Yeah, I just found it.
Okay. Yeah, you can just leave me a little hello there. That way, that's how I take attendance.
Okay. Send to, oh, I see.
It does. You can send it to everyone or have it be private. It doesn't matter. It disappears.
Well, it's so simple. I mean, thanks. Oh, man. So let's.